When I was a teenager, I was terrified of being gay, profoundly scared and lonely. It was almost impossible to imagine that some 40 years later, I'd be happily married to a man with a beautiful circle of gay and straight friends and a meaningful life. My story is just one example of how much life has changed for the LGBTQ community over the past several decades. We've come a long way and have a tremendous amount to be thankful for. But there's one critical thing we lack: a national archive of on-camera interviews in which our collective story is told by the individuals who lived it, witnessed it, and helped make it happen. There's nothing more powerful than seeing people tell their stories. That's why we have the Shoah Foundation, 52,000 interviews with witnesses and survivors of the Holocaust. That's why we have the History Makers, 2,600 interviews with prominent and unsung African Americans, documenting their journey from Selma to civil rights to our first Black president. We have our own story, from the fearful 50s to Stonewall, to the AIDS crisis and Don't Ask, Don't Tell, to the defeat of DOMA and a tide of marriage equality sweeping the land. Dramatic and important, not just for us, but for the whole world as a model of change and progress. We need a national interview archive, and we need it now. Many of our elders and pioneers have passed away. We must begin recording the stories of those who are still with us now. Introducing OUTWORDS. OUTWORDS is our first truly comprehensive national archive of on-camera interviews with the vast, fascinating, and brilliantly diverse LGBTQ community. From people in the limelight, to behind-the-scenes movers and shakers, to people who have simply lived their lives with courage and dignity, navigating the sometimes tricky path from secrecy and shame to self-acceptance and full membership in our national fabric. So who are we talking about? Well, here's a cross-section of the types of people whose incredible stories we want to capture. Long-distance swimmer Diana Nyad, Apple CEO Tim Cook, bisexual veterans activist Cliff Arneson, queer Chicana performance artist Monica Palacios, electrical engineer Lynn Conway, fired by IBM in 1969 for being transgender, openly gay Muslim cleric Dayi Abdullah, Kason Crane, first openly gay climber to scale the world's 7 highest mountains, trans boxer Pat Manuel, United States Chief Technology Officer Megan Smith, Native American farmer Crisosto Apache, and a whole host of other unsung individuals, from nurses who battled in the AIDS crisis, to parents who marched in a PFLAG parade, to priests and rabbis who helped us bridge the gap between our sexuality and our spirituality, to cops and firefighters who battled homophobia in their ranks, to teachers who risked their jobs to come out. Multiply these stories by 500, 1,000, even 10,000, and you've got OUTWORDS. Interview by interview, we can build a history as vast, varied, and essential as any that's ever been recorded to remember, to celebrate, and to ensure that the insights of the past are not lost to the future. It's an ambitious undertaking, but the good news is we're a powerful community with incredible stories to tell. Please pledge your support today and become part of OUTWORDS.